Good day, everyone. So I'm here on my alternative account trying to hunt as many Primo Gems as possible and finally getting to actually doing all the puzzles and so on. It is a long weekend where I am, and actually I was told yesterday to go home earlier as well. So definitely just relaxing and just yeah being scammed again by this guy. So yeah, that's sort of a case. Hopefully we can get a constellation or two on this account, and we can do like a before and after video. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Who knows? So the big thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is actually toxicity in Genshin, and it's one thing that I've just been mulling over as I've just been like running around doing puzzles and stuff here. So I think with all my thoughts now gathered, we can actually talk a bit about it. So one of the things that's always interesting to me is how extremely passionate or almost even angry people get when someone has, let's say, a certain opinion about something in the game. So, for instance, a lot of people might say, well, Yai Miko needs iframings on her E ability, and if you don't agree, then you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And this is the interesting thing. People get very angry when they perceive someone else's opinion to be wrong, whether that opinion is wrong just because it's an opinion, whether it's factually wrong. In other words, there's some actual maths that you can use to back it, whether it's wrong conceptually in terms of a person's understanding of the game. There's a lot of reasons why something can be right or wrong, or why takes can be nuanced, they can be situationally correct, and so on and so forth. But the interesting thing for me is not whether things are right or wrong, but why people get angry, why people get upset at things that might just be considered like just a normal takes. This is like really really bizarre to me because in my world and on my way of thinking, I almost never get angry if someone is wrong about something unless they purposefully taunt me. Um, but I always look at something. Let's say someone says, "Well, yeah, Miko needs iframing." I would like practically go and think, well, why does the mechanism work the way it does? What are all the aspects we need to consider? And then I'll think, well, in what situations are there where even if you've got iframing, it might not even be helpful. It might just be useless. So if you think of the what's his name, the Primogeo Bishop right here, one of the interesting things in one of his attacks is he hits you, I think, with his left hand if you're like looking at him, or right hand. Sorry, it's like from your perspective. And even if you could iframe him, let's say this iframed his attack. When he pulls back his hand, he can hit you whilst you exit. It doesn't matter if you dash or whatever at the correct moment. If you just dash incorrectly, he'll hit you the moment you exit your iframe, which definitely then calls for a situation where perhaps it's not the iframing that's the problem, it is how you are positioned relative to your enemy. And this is how I sort of started to reason about Yaimiko, understanding what the purpose of her tools are and how you should be instead like using this and then giving practical gameplay examples. And that is my sort of take on things in the game, is to very constructively or from a very first principle basis start arguing over things, and then to start thinking about the macro or the conceptual level. So I mean, obviously on the channel we did a video on why Xiangling is pretty much overrated, and it is one thing that a lot of people, theory crafters and so on, reacted to and said it's a bad take, and they got angry and all these sorts of things, but there was never any constructive like reason as to why they actually disagreed. It was just mostly boiled down to, yeah, that's a bad take, but they could never really properly reason out from first principle or like explain it very simply why this conceptual take was wrong. And I think in that sense, I'm also going to stop making more conceptual videos because people don't generalize well. If you tell someone, listen, this is your book, this is your artifacts, this is the damage you're going to do. If I have to choose between this artifact and this artifact, which one is better? People can answer it. It's a micro question. It's something that people can put into a spreadsheet. They can argue and debate about it. There's a mathematical foundation, but when you start doing things like the flow of the game, the ease of positioning, understanding that by being a bit patient, now you can put out more damage than playing a set rotation. These more conceptual things, these things that are seemingly abstract but are actually very practical, are lost on a lot of people. And I think in that sense, I don't want to engage anymore with people like on that front. So for me, one of the ways in dealing with this anger, this sort of hate, and a lot of the things that you see in your comments, and some things that I've seen by being like a little spy in Discord and other channels as well, and even on other people that have had really good takes that are being shot down. I think I'll sort of try and disengage from that sort of content and perhaps like more focus on practical aspects. So I won't explain to you why I think certain things are happening, perhaps more so just doing things and then you can come to your own conclusion. Because for me, there's no point in being angry at someone. It's like a politician being angry. Or sorry, it's like you being angry at a politician for saying something really stupid. At the end of the day, even if they are completely wrong, we need to understand why they are wrong instead of just like complaining around a family dinner like for ages at how bad someone is. I mean, I think a lot of you might have had that experience. Everyone around you just complains and complains about this guy or this politician or this other person. And at the end of the day, we never really get anywhere. It's almost like people call it an echo chamber of some sort. So it's like people are just like bouncing off the same opinion without actually getting into the why. And when you do start talking about the why, a lot of people are sort of lost in the conversation. They sort of start because they sort of like take a disinterest because what you're doing is you are funneling the supposed anger and you're trying to be like constructive about it. And people don't really like that. They want you to sort of confirm their opinion. They want you to be angry with them, not to think about a situation. And it is something that is very difficult to sort of get to, like, or to sort of grasp with if you think on a macro level like I do. It's very difficult sometimes to relate to people's experiences and grievances. And in that sense, for me at least, I think the best way for the channel at least as well is to not engage with it and perhaps to sort of give perhaps like a more roundabout way or a roundabout take when it comes to assessing things like characters and how they work and so on. But yeah, for me, Genshin toxicity is something that is also very reminiscent of a lot of people being young. So, for instance, my YouTube analytics says that the majority of people are between 18 and 24, so you're all younger than me. And it's definitely something that I can empathize with because when I was like younger as well, one of the things that I would do is also get like unnecessarily angry. And it's only like later on, especially like given my job and so on, that you really sit back, you listen to what people's takes are, and then you try and find like a constructive way of engaging with them on those sorts of takes. And I think perhaps applying that approach instead of trying to appeal perhaps more to the sort of younger side of myself might be better on the channel. And at the end of the day, if someone does get angry due to the content and so on, then the onus is on them to properly explain why they're angry, why they don't agree, and so on. But yeah, that is sort of what I've wanted to say on toxicity and what I'm going to be doing on the channel. So obviously, a few videos are going to be unlisted. Let me know what you guys think and yeah, what's your sort of preferred way of dealing with things. I'm honestly just tired of dealing with children online. I think I've got much better things to do than engage in pointless comment wars in the comment section or just deleting comments. So that's just going to be my take. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Cheers.